I just want to touch on, so the Austin GIS, which I think, this is something you've been kind of hinting at for the last, couple of months. It's a lot of people are wondering what this is. To me, it seems almost like now you actually showed on a slide, like some of the things. I would call it almost like they're offering a smart cities in a box solution. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, I think in addition to that, it's smart city in a box, fair enough, but retail analytics in a box, security solutions in a box, all of this financed as an infrastructure, as a service offering. And I think that last piece is important because the barrier to entry for municipalities that want to engage in this and take their city to the next level, the barrier to entry is usually access to capital. So if we could eliminate that, or at least mitigate it, turn into an operating expense and turn into a 5, 10, 15, 20-year contract, it becomes more reachable for many of these municipalities. And that's the hypothesis of Austin GIS.
Okay, so it's like a SaaS model for the city. So that way, basically,
everything. So the hardware, the software, the services, the day two management and support, the deployment and installation activities, all of that under a SaaS model.
Okay, so this is basically essentially a city. It makes it almost hard to say no. I mean, you're making them an offer they can't refuse. I mean, they're going to have this tremendous opportunity where they can, increase revenues, for the city, right? Whatever different fees, reduce potential crime, increase convenience, all the different, and we can go through all the different aspects of the different services. You're providing kind of the AI analytics aspect for the camera, which is kind of the key ingredient for a lot of it. And we've talked about, and all the city has to do is essentially sign the contract, and this thing goes to work immediately. So they've really.
This is why it's so compelling. It is not just new revenue, but it's efficiencies and the ability to turn city services into AI complemented or supported services, which is very important to cities. In addition to that, just as a quick reminder, the plan that was approved by Congress in the USA included $65 billion for exactly these types of services. So part of what Austin GIS is doing is building a support capability to help municipalities understand how to access those funds, because it's never clear. It's always difficult to navigate. So that's part of it. But just as a quick closing comment on Austin GIS, the scope is global, right? We're already talking to entities, not just cities, but enterprises on a global basis.
So it's interesting, and you gave one example of a small use case, not exactly like this, but like for example in Mexico City, like in a certain area where a mayor installed just your kind of the security function of what VSB does, which allows them to track, I think, are cars left what is it called, abandoned, or is there whatever, is there all the different stuff, and it really transformed, I guess, quality of life there.
Yeah, absolutely. And so if you look at Mexico and you try to put that in the box that is Austin GIS, just to sort of close on that, is you could either spend many millions of dollars in capital dollars to equip 50,000 stores, or you could sign a 5 to 7 year contract with someone like Austin GIS, and what you're paying now for is activated stores on a month-to-month basis in light of those stores creating advertising revenue. So now you've actually got an economic model that pencils. So you're spending X, you're making Y. And as long as Y is more than X, you've got an economic model that's scalable and workable. And that's precisely what we're doing in Mexico City with Austin, with AB InBev across Latin America with AGIS. On the security side, you're exactly right. It's improving city services, adding to the security envelope, increasing and measuring security sentiment. So all of that is enormously impacted by the stuff that we're putting in place with Radar app and with Austin GIS in Mexico.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, on that slide, there was like a lot of really interesting features. Each of these, addresses a massive opportunity. And again, it seems like a no-brainer for a city to deploy this, because they don't have to.
A city a private enterprise, a large developer, multi-building, university, schools, hospital. Those are the target markets. It's not just limited to municipalities.